Hi guys, my name is Marcel and today you and I are going to level up your anatomy. Like, not your anatomy, rather the anatomy you draw. Like a sir. You know, while recovering from, I guess, pregnancy, I thought about how most of you can probably draw a decent basic human by now, but the question is, how do you get from this to that? And the answer is you don't. Sorry to burst your bubble there. There's actually a step between these stages. Most of you told me in my Instagram DMs that you're struggling with actually making your stickman look like a human and less like a, you know, deflated blow-up doll. The problem is you can roughly know how a human is constructed, and you also might know how to draw the details, but this won't help you if you still don't know how to draw correct proportions. And that's why today I'll be teaching you that very middle step in order to help you out a bit. Maybe you guys already read my community post. I've been to a lot of events and conventions, I've prepared artworks for next year and wrote a book. I'm still recovering from a lot of stuff at the moment, but I felt kind of guilty not uploading for so long, so I thought it might be time to finally make a new video, recovered or not. So with that out of the way, let's finally get started. Now, take a look at this. When I'm drawing a character, I'm actually not drawing them with these basic shapes that first come to mind, like circles and rectangles. I'm using more advanced shapes for this, and that's the key here. When pros sketch out something, instead of just a stickman, they tend to use more advanced shapes. And there is a good reason for that. I mean, just take a closer look. Let's zoom in and you can see how the shoulder, for example, is an in-between version of the stickman and the finished piece. And by already sketching your drawings like this, you only have to add some details in order to finish your drawing when you are using advanced shapes. So as you can see, that's pretty important. Doesn't matter if you draw women or men. So let's start all over from the very basics. I have a basic stickman drawn out here, just like an absolute beginner would draw it. Now, I'm going to show you how to sketch a more advanced version of the stickman in order for you to understand anatomy better. You know, just like the one that I'm personally drawing for my artworks, or for my manga, and basically for everything else. And I'm going to show you each body part individually, just so we can keep things overseeable. Also, the best part is you can draw along if you wanna.
What? Me?
Yeah, you! Now stop asking and let's go. Okay, so let's actually start with the arm. I feel like a lot of people definitely want to improve here. I already teased this earlier, but instead of a plain ball, you definitely want to change the shape of the shoulder to this triangle-like structure. And yes, it doesn't matter if you want to draw someone buff or a skinny person, this is anatomy we're talking about. This applies to almost everyone. Also, drawing these shapes helps you understand anatomy better because this deltoid muscle is also visible from the back too. This knowledge right here can be very, very powerful if you start practicing with it for a while. The biceps, just like before, is just the same cylinder shape as usual, but the next crucial part is the elbow. The elbow part is usually the biggest part of your arm because many muscles overlap there. And that's why I would advise you to draw the lower part of the arm not as a cylinder, but rather as a triangle. I think this best represents the silhouette of an actual arm. Just remember that it gets slimmer and slimmer. And when it comes to the hand, you can draw however you like. I ain't touching this subject here, that's a topic that I've already covered in another video. Now, let's continue with the upper body. Maybe you saw that the shoulder muscles are cutting into your chest. This is basically only relevant if your character is very muscular, but I just wanted to mention it. Also, I think your best bet is to draw the chest angular at first. It feels more like a building block and easier to work with that way. Don't forget, you can always just erase this later on if you don't want muscles on your character. Now, people usually forget this, but there are actually muscles around your neck, and that's why you draw two triangles there. In case you're drawing a child or a fragile looking person, you want to keep these triangles very slim. I mean, yeah, makes sense, you don't want to draw a character that looks completely slim, but when it comes to his neck he's suddenly all jacked up or something. This goes for every muscle, by the way. The thicker and the more detailed you draw those, the more muscular your characters look. Making a character look muscular is a whole topic for itself, but your boy Marcel's got you covered on this. Check out my video on this topic if you're interested in making your character look more lean or more muscular. Now, drawing a torso doesn't seem that complicated at first, but I think many people also have a problem here. At least I had a problem back in the day where I was always insecure about the waist of my characters. Sometimes it just looked too thin, other times I thought the shape looked kinda weird, and so on. I would recommend beginners use this shape in order to learn the spacing between ribcage and pelvis, but this is not a beginner tutorial, so I personally like to add this shape. Those are the lateral abdominal muscles, and drawing it, personally, I think has 4 big benefits. First, you exactly know where your legs are going to start. Secondly, this is a pretty healthy proportion for a stomach, so you don't need to worry if it's too slim or too big. Also, if you want to draw these lines, you only have to trace this part right here. And last but not least, you can finally stop asking about stomach proportions, my god! Oh, and in case you want to draw abs as well, just pencil in this template right here. More details about abs are in the aforementioned muscle video, because now we can continue with drawing. Now, when looking at your legs, your first instinct might be to say, "Ha, I know how that works. That's just like drawing arms, right?" Yes! Arms and legs are very similar, yet very different. The base is kinda the same, that's true, but the proportions are not. Unlike your bicep, your thigh muscles are the strongest and biggest muscles in your whole body, much bigger than your bicep. Some people out there even have thighs so strong and big they can crush watermelons with it, and if you are one of those people, please call me. That's why, while drawing, you actually start way bigger here than you do with an arm, similar to a teardrop shape. Now, but what about the rest of the leg? Like I said, it's similar, but not the same as with drawing an arm. As you can see, the lower arm starts out big, while the leg has the big part right in the middle. That's what I always got wrong when I was drawing legs back in the day, but you are now a lot wiser than I was. So, when drawing the lower part of the leg, you should rather use this diamond shape. And now, I mean, look at it, I think that looks pretty true to an actual leg, even though those are only 2 very simple shapes. And again, with the feet, I won't go into much detail about drawing a foot here. I personally think you're good if you're drawing feet like this for starters. That's how I'm doing it as well. The most important thing is that even while drawing such a simple shape like this, you can still kinda check the balance of your character and if it looks actually viable. Also, if you do have feet yourself, please call me. Okay. That was just that one was just a joke. But the one with the thighs wasn't. As you can now see, those shapes do make for a more convincing human than your average stickman. And here you have an overview that you can screenshot if you want. You know how things work around here. All I want as a payment in return is a like. Or maybe a comment, or both, that's up to you. I'm not picky. And to be honest, there's not much left in order to turn these building blocks into actual limbs and muscles. Though I still think it would still be pretty helpful to look at very detailed anatomy anyways if you have the chance, you know, just to hone your skills a bit more. Also, don't worry if things don't seem to work out for you. Sometimes it's just plain exercise that's lacking. I have some examples how just practicing easy shapes like circles, rectangles and triangles can make a very big difference. So maybe it's not talent that's lacking, maybe it's just plain old practice. I've made a whole video on this exact topic and actually on a lot more topics as well. So if you want to check them out, you can. I'm actually kinda bad at ending videos. I should probably talk about my new book or ask you guys to subscribe and stuff, but instead I'd rather say thank you for watching and thanks for supporting me. My name has been Marcel, and I would be happy to see you guys when I upload my next video. See ya then. Goodbye.